Hello, my fellow Kenyans. Kakonga, your coach and the pioneer of Vision Total Football Kenya. My fellow Kenyans, today we seek to understand how FKF spent 9 million Kenya shilling in 2018 for lunch. FKF staff in 2018, they spent 9 million Kenya shilling for lunch. And in 2018, all football players in Kenya who played for Harambee Stars in 2018 for a whole year, they were collectively paid 15 million Kenya shilling. So how do we have FKF as a federation spending 15 million Kenya shilling only for all the Harambee Stars players for the whole year? And then on the other side, FKF spent 9 million Kenya shilling, for lunch for its staff. At the same time, FKF paid 65 million Kenya shilling to its staff. So we have here 9 million Kenya shilling for lunch for FKF staff, 65 million Kenya shilling for FKF staff wage, and only 15 million Kenya shilling for all Harambee Stars players. My fellow Kenyans, we have deep issues to deal with. Now, I released a video 2 days ago that went viral, and I said, for the last 3 years, FKF was given 1.2 billion Kenya shilling by FIFA and the Kenyan government. And from that 1.2 billion Kenya shilling, what Kenyans got on return is 148 million Kenya shilling. And that is not even the return. The return is actually zero. What I'm trying to say is this: for 3 years, FKF as a business made 148 million Kenya shilling. But on the other side, they were funded by the government, by an amount of 1.2 billion Kenya shilling. That is the money that came from FIFA and the government. From that, what did the Kenyans get from that? It is nothing, because in the books of account, FKF is making loss after loss, and just, there's no money, there's nothing. The situation is messy. I'm telling you now. Within FKF, the situation is messy. That is why we see no money. But the officials are being paid well. The staffs are being paid well. The staff are spending 9 million Kenya shilling for lunch. My question today is only one. We want accountability. We want to understand how can the staff spend 9 million Kenya shilling. How many were the staffs? And how much money did each staff spend for the year for lunch to make it 9 million Kenya shilling? And this lunch is wrong that it was being bought using the public money, because the staff were being paid as well. So why did they need to spend 9 million Kenya shilling for lunch? Number 2, Kenya Football President Nick Mwendwa and the entire NEC Council must be held accountable. They must answer Kenyans, how did they authorize 9 million Kenya shilling for lunch? NEC member, you cannot run away from this. President of football in Kenya, Nick Mwendwa, you cannot run away from this. Accountability must stand. This NEC team, the NEC team, the National Executive Council, I said before, they are a yes men. Because none of them can ever stand up and tell the president, this decision is wrong. That decision I don't agree with. Why? Because they are a yes men. Because it all starts by the ideology of Team Blue. We have the president of football, Team Blue. NEC member, Team Blue. You go to the county, the branches, Team Blue. So this hierarchy of Team Blue people, they are not able to question the president. The president is like a star, in quotes. Whatever he says is right. Anybody else below the president becomes a yes man. My fellow Kenyans, we have to ask ourselves, when did you last hear at least one of the NEC members disagree with the decision made by the president, or come with a different idea? Or the NEC member are supposed to authorize expenditure. So therefore, NEC member cannot run away from this. The president will have to be held accountable, and NEC member must be held accountable. Whether they will be elected again or not, that's a different question. For the 4 years term that they have served, they must be held accountable. Yes, Kinoti might not be with them yet, but Kenyans require answers. How can you authorize 9 million Kenya shillings for lunch? It is a simple question, a direct question, and it needs a direct answer. How can the FKF president, Mr. Nick Mwendwa, and how can the 9 or 10 NEC member authorized the same 9 million Kenya shilling for lunch for FKF staff? Direct question, require direct answer. We don't want to hear so many stories beating around the bush. I have put my question very direct, and more questions are yet to come. My fellow Kenyans, FKF has no vision. FKF has no leadership. Yeah? Remember the story, the Bible story about Moses and the people of Israel. When Moses lost vision, they wanted to even go back to slavery. This is where we are as Kenyans. So many Kenyans are saying, we wish we could bring back the football of the 90s, the football of the 80s. Why do we want to go back? Because the football leadership has no vision. The Bible says, where there is no vision, people perish. Pasipokuwa na maono, watu wanakufa kabisa. If a leader of a country lacks vision, be guaranteed people will die. People will perish. People in our Kenyan football are perishing. People in our Kenyan football are dying. Football in Kenya has died. So where there is no vision, people perish. Is that straight? But I go back to my question that the NEC member and Nick Mwendwa, the president of Football Kenya Federation, in the last 4 years, accountability must stand. For today, I want one answer. How did the president and Nick and the NEC members authorized 9 million Kenya shillings for lunch? I live in peace. I'm gone.